recorded live from opposite sides of the USA on a crappy Skype connection. It's the Sonic Talk Lost World Holiday Special with Alex Friel and Jason Barry. Featuring special guest host GX Echidna. Guest appearances by Sega's Aaron Weber and Kelly Parker. Sly Stoodles and the Rex Rebo Band. JoJo the Banjo Hobo. And Paul Lynn on the center square. And now, he's the sweatiest looking guy you've ever seen, and the other is a 42-year-old virgin. Here's Alex Friel and Jason Barry!
Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special Sonic Talk episode. It's all about Sonic Lost World. It's our holiday special. And with us tonight
Wait, we're actually doing the holiday special thing?
Why not? We're not going to do another one till after Christmas anyway.
Yeah, but we're not going to sing any Christmas carols. We don't have oh man, this is going to be a horrible Christmas special.
He's making reference to his dumb skit at the beginning of the thing.
What dumb skit? We weren't even recording when I sang. I was not being at all serious.
Anyway, as you can tell, we got Alex Peel with us. And also a man who's not sure if this is real life, GX Echidna.
Is this the fantasy? Starting a landslide. No escape from reality.
I said that because you were all doped up from the dentist.
He has a sore tooth.
No, there is no dentist involved. I am all full of
legal
that gum that you rub on your gums and it makes them numb.
Oh.
Nice. Oh, not pills. Okay.
No, pills too, Advil.
Right, yeah, you told me pills. Okay.
Anywho.
And good old water.
Right. Anyway, we also got a special treat tonight. We're going to have an interview with Aaron Weber right near the end of the show. So make sure to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I was worried it must be for our episode 25, but no. Everyone had lives and stuff and things to do.
Yeah, we're trying to make a 25th episode special. I don't know if it's going to actually happen or not. But we're going to try for that eventually.
You see, and that one is...
Well, so I'm going to be a whiny little bitch.
That's why we're calling this one
No, that's
special.
every episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, I'm a very optimistic bitch.
Anyway, let's get on to...
I believe that's your stripper name, too.
Oh, yeah, we're all professional around here. Okay, let's get on to what we've been playing.
So Sonic Lost Worlds.
Well, before Sonic Lost World,
right, you're doing that.
the other stuff that we've been playing, like both you and me got a PS4 now. Got ours at launch.
Yes, I got a PlayStation 4.
And
I also got an Xbox One. Sort of.
Yeah. How's your Xbox One doing for you?
Well, I only played it for about 3 hours. It was okay. Actually, it was
3 hours of play actually involved installing the game?
Let me start from the beginning.
It's funny because it takes a long time to install.
Right.
Yes. It was really pissing me heck off. Because, so my parents agreed to get me an Xbox One for the for Hanukkah last Christmas. So we're doing it's going to be for Christmas because even though we're Jews, we don't really do Hanukkah anymore. I don't know.
It's commercial anymore.
So yeah, it's gonna be my Christmas gift, and because I didn't want to spend my own money. Because it's $500, it's an Xbox One, so we were getting reports of disk problems. They insisted I tried to make sure I didn't have disk problems. So I bought a Rise son of Rome, stuck it in, ate dinner, ate lunch, went swimming, went for a walk, worked on some work, went back, and discovered it was at 2%. And so I got really irate, and I started doing other things. And like about 2 hours later, finally, at 21% installed, it was playable. And that's pretty much what I remember. That and the fact that the armor on Rise is very, very nice looking. It's like each piece of armor moves individually. It's impressive.
It's by Crytek. What do you expect?
Yeah, it's like that's the only impressive thing about the game. Really, is the armor and the lighting and the faces. The faces look nice.
Microtransactions.
Screw the microtransactions. I mean, I was on a slow connection, so I also tried to I tried to download Crimson Dragon because I'm a horrible person, so I have to subject myself to horrible things, and also Killer Instinct because I heard that was fun. Plus, you got a free demo, but I didn't get to play any of those.
Yeah, please call it a demo. Don't call it a free-to-play game like they're trying to advertise it as.
It is totally free to play. You can freely play one character.
Yep, that's it.
That's why I called it a demo. But yeah, Xbox One, I mean, it's okay. It has like the most impressive graphical game of between the two systems. You know, Rise looks very nice. Looks way better than Killzone. Looks better than Battlefield 4. Yeah, it is the most impressive looking game I've seen so far. On either system.
Right now, anything's better than Battlefield 4 because I can't play through the single player of Battlefield 4 without my save file.
That happened to you too? That happened to me, and so I had to start over.
I just ended up trading that in for Call of Duty Ghosts.
See, I have no interest in playing a last generation port, and
but do you have
as I understand
wait a minute, you're playing the hell out of Assassin's Creed Black Flag as well as
yes, okay, that was kind of the exception. Because it has pirates, and pirates are cool, albeit pirates with stretchy rubber powers are cooler. But it was cool, and I didn't buy it long, specifically because it was a last-gen port. But as it turns out, it's also the best game on the PlayStation 4 right now.
Yeah, it is. It is an awesome.
I mean, my God, those ship battles are. Oh my God, I barely even get off the ship. I just sail around. I blow people up. I roll over gunships and innocent civilians because I'm a bastard of the sea. But
the one thing I like about a really great game is if it can take you into that world and just want to stay there, and that's something that Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag does very well.
They got some good singers in that game. Okay, so let's see. Real quick, I've also been playing my Vita with some Killer Instinct and Tearaway. I've been playing Wii U.
Wait! You're playing Killer Instinct on your Vita?
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
I played both Killzones on my Vita. Technically, I played Killzone.
You said Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say Killer Instinct on my Vita?
Yes.
Shit.
You know that's a play game.
Okay, sorry. No, I played Killzone on my Vita, both Shadowfall and Mercs. Fun games, though. Shadowfall has some design issues later in the game that I guess I couldn't get over. I don't know if you've gotten to this point yet, Jason, where you have to play this little spider bot thing.
That's okay. I didn't have a problem with that. I'm trying to get through the single-player campaign just so I can trade it in, because it's no Halo. Not by a long shot.
Yeah, well, there is really no Halo. You know, Halo is Halo, nothing.
The single player is pretty good, but the multiplayer kind of sucks, especially compared to your Battlefield. I didn't like the multiplayer on this one.
Maybe I'll trade it in too then, if the multiplayer isn't up to snuff for me. Mercenaries is fun though. I really like that. And let's see, Tearaway. Oh yes, on Wii U, Super Mario 3D Land, and on Ouya I've been playing. I played a bit of Towerfall with my bro while he was here, and I also played some Mirror Moon, which is a really weird, trippy game.
Super Mario 3D World is definitely up for like Game of the Year. It's the best Mario in a while since Galaxy, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, what else can you say? I mean, what does it really have to go up against? I mean, it's to me, Mario 3D World is basically taking. Look looking at the classic Mario thing and basically telling the new Super Mario Brothers team, yeah, you know what? This is how you do it.
Really.
That's. Yeah,
it's more innovative, way more innovative than anything new Super Mario Brothers has had.
Yeah, it's also a lot better than Super Mario 3D Land, which really just feels so inadequate compared to this. And, yeah, okay, it's not a much more powerful console, so that was really a really unfair thing to say. But even like I felt that the Galaxy games were much better than 3D Land as well. That was on similar hardware. So
well, here's the question though. Here's the question though. If you played 3D World, do you think it's still worth playing 3D Land?
Yes.
Yeah, if you haven't played 3D
like
Land,
I said, that's completely unfair.
Because I can say playing 3D World is actually, I for whatever reason that I can't really fathom, I skipped 3D Land, which
really?
I do regret.
Wow.
Like, I can't explain why. I think it just hit at an awkward time whenever in my budget, but I never got that game, so it's kind of like going through 3D World makes me think, you know what? I kind of want more of this.
Well, this isn't really on the same. It isn't on the same level as World, but it's still a fun Mario game. You know, it doesn't have anything like the cack suit or the cherries, and oh my gosh, the cherries.
I love the cherries.
That's a wonderful power up. I mean, especially with like how you have to divide up and move around the characters, and it's such a creative power up.
Yeah, it requires a lot of skill if you want to get to some of the later parts of the level. Plus, I love how besides those green stars, now you got the little stamps to get so you can use them in Miiverse and stuff. And I won't.
Gee, which one of us have been using the Miiverse stamps at nausea?
Was it you, Jason? Huh?
Yeah.
I just did some tweaks focusing around. Not tweaks, Miiverse posts focusing around Princess Peach going up into Bowser's castle and beating the crap out of some bosses. That was fun.
Jason Miiverse posts like a mother. So, I mean, he's all over that, and it kind of creeps me out.
What can I say? Come on now, I don't post that often.
And speaking of the Miiverse, you know what really pisses me off? Well, okay, it doesn't piss me off. I'm just kind of somewhat irritated. Is how the Miiverse is done to 3DS. It's so damn slow.
It's very slow.
Yeah, what are you going to do? It's a 3DS. It's not designed. It was never really designed to have, and I'm amazed that they have one in the first place.
I thought that what they were going to do, I thought they were going to release a new 3DS with like more RAM or something that can handle more things at once, and make that the Miiverse 3DS. But
I think it's just a matter of time. They'll do upgrades and stuff, and it'll eventually get to where it needs to be.
You're looking at a lot of different versions of that hardware then, because we've already gotten 3. Do you really think it's wise to split the market again?
I don't think it's just a big 3DS, and that's just that 2D capabilities. I mean, the only one that's actually brought any kind of hardware change has been the 2DS, and that's a hardware change that's really mostly superficial.
But you're still looking at like 3 different SKUs already, plus all colors. I mean, there's really so much you can split the market until it's just confusing.
I don't really think there's any splitting going on because all the systems play all the same games.
I think if you're a parent shopping in stores, especially
you'll buy 3DS because they're cheap.
Not necessarily. I mean, the kid's gonna know what they want, and they're not gonna want this thing. They're gonna want that thing. But I don't want that color. I want this color, and you're already looking at a very big diagram of this goes with this, but doesn't go with this, and this can play this, but it can't play this.
Discontinue the 3DS and 3DS XL when they release new models, and then bam, problem solved.
I think you're giving it too much credit.
I'm really not. Nintendo's been doing that for years.
Man, if they had put that extra joystick on the 2DS, I would have already traded in my 3DS XL for 2DS. That's how much I want that extra stick. Mainly for Monster Hunter.
Well, okay, for
We
most
really have to
of it,
at least move on to someone else talking about what games they played. GX?
Okay, well, I actually just traded up my 3DS for an XL, and
Yeah, you were talking about that.
I really enjoyed that. That was my... I do not go on Black Friday excursions, but for whatever reason this year, this is my first year living on my own, and I was thinking, yeah, you know what? I'm going to try this, because this seems like it's going to be profoundly stupid, and you know, it was profoundly stupid. I stood out
Really?
Target for several hours.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, for months.
You're dedicated.
I am super dedicated. But yeah, I stopped at a Walmart, and then I stopped at another Walmart. I was like, you know, they have these giant things. There's just a bunch of people moving around. It is slow. It is congested. And this is just hilarious how I don't care in the slightest, and I'm not buying anything.
Wow, so, oh, wait, you're talking about Gray Thursday.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I am talking about
Yeah,
whatever color you want
impressed
to
me
call
when
it.
you said you went to that. I guess, I don't know. That's,
Yeah, Walmart screwed
I
up
had
my
to stop
Thanksgiving.
talking to you for the night, because that really depressed me.
Yeah, I didn't. The weather was too bad. I couldn't see my family, so it's like, yeah, what am I going to do? I can either sit around and do nothing, or just check out how stupid everything's going to be.
And it was stupid.
It was stupid,
Anyway,
but it
for-
was
for
fun
Black
how stupid
Friday.
it was. But
All right, go
aside
on.
from that, I mean, I plowed through Link Between Worlds, and that is, I don't care for the top-down Zelda as much.
Yeah,
but
that's actually why I haven't gotten it.
But that game, I really did enjoy.
Huh.
Like,
That one's on my Christmas list.
I'm not entirely sure what it is about it, because even I'm not the biggest fan of the of Link to the Past. I acknowledge that it's still, even the Zeldas I don't like, I can still acknowledge are worlds above most games. But something about this one just kind of hit me right, and I'm not sure if it was the pacing or the exploration or just the way it's set up, but I really enjoyed it. I just finished the extra case, the downloadable content case for Phoenix Wright, and
I'm halfway through that.
I haven't bought the game yet.
I can
I'm at the point where the well, I guess if anybody's listening is playing it, I guess I won't say. But I'm at the twist.
you're at
deal.
one, you're at
Why
one
did
of
you
the
tell me
twists.
that? Now I'm spoiled.
You were
like
at-
it anymore.
Oh my God! There's a twist in this Attorney game. My God.
You'd be surprised what some people get annoyed with when it comes to spoilers. Like in Mario, I saw people getting irate because they found out that the first boss of Super Mario 3D World is Bowser. Like, that's been the first boss of every single goddamn Mario 3D game since Mario Galaxy. Big deal.
But yeah, between that, I blew a ton of money on Steam sale. I guess if I want to talk about anything that's not already well beloved, I guess I had a day off earlier this week, and I started playing the Steam version of SteamWorld Dig at about 10 o'clock, and by the time I was done, I looked at the clock, and it was 4:30.
Wow.
That is, it got a
What
lot
does
of...
SteamWorld did? Because I hear nothing but good praises about that from.
I
other
played it. It
podcasts,
was
so-
okay.
I think,
Is
I
it a
think it's...
Minecraft thing?
No, it is.
No.
It's not Minecraft. The best way I can describe it is, imagine if in Metroid you had to carve out your own corridors. And that's the point of the game. It does have an element of you have to go as far as you can and accomplish as much as you can until you run out of time. And then you have to work your way back. And then you use what you did during that one to fund upgrades. So it kind of has kind of that Flash thing, like that Flash game style appeal of you take what you can get on one run to fuel a better run next time. But it's a little more complex than that because it actually does have consistent level design, and it's not like a roguelike where it resets everything when you're done. It's more along the lines of, hey, you made this tunnel, this is going to be what the tunnel is like for the rest of the game, and you have to put up with that.
You make me want to go back and replay it.
It's really interesting. Like I said, it's very Metroid-like because it does have a distinct upgrade system where you are building your skills, trying to explore and find all these little alcoves with puzzle rooms, and from there you're getting legitimate upgrades. Like, there are upgrades that literally change how you approach the game throughout the game, and they come pretty consistently.
Huh.
So I give it high recommendation. The Steam version is all high definition, but there is a 3DS version that I also hear is excellent.
Yeah, that's where I thought that's where like it was first released, was on 3DS.
It was first released on 3DS.
That's where I first played it.
But yeah, it is a very interesting game, and I think if you like Metroid-style exploration games and upgrade games, then it's definitely worth a try. And don't be fooled, because it really isn't anything like Minecraft. Like, the only tie between them is digging and digging paths.
All right.
But
I have to give that one a shot. It's on 3DS too, huh?
It's on 3DS. It's on Steam. I mean, you might be better off if you want it portable. I mean, it would make a good portable game.
Now, should this run on my PC without any troubles?
You
think this will run on my PC without much trouble?
No, it's not.
It's a 2D game.
It's not a demanding game. It is like a straight 2D action platformer, puzzly, whatever you want to call it.
Alrighty. Well, since this is Sonic Talk, I guess we could talk about two other Sonic games that have been released.
Screw it. Screw it.
Sonic 1 and Sonic 2.
I will buy them when they're on real systems.
Well, Sonic...
well, you know, if you buy it, you can download them to it.
I repeat, I will buy them when they're on real systems.
Ouya's a real system. Don't insult my Ouya.
But as far as Sonic 1, I'm talking about, of course, the 3D one by M2. And they did a very good job with that, especially with all the parallax scrolling. Everything looks like it's going deeper into the background, plus you got trees in the foreground. That's really well done.
I have an unusual question about that. Did they do any additional work for the Western release?
I don't think so. I mean, you can play it as the Japanese version or the international version. I don't know what changes with that.
I think it like has some graphical changes. Like there's different parallax scrolling, and I'm guessing the spike bug is probably the biggest thing. But the only reason why I ask is I was following some reviews whenever it was originally released in Japan.
That was terrible.
And yeah, they were pretty hard on it, but I'm hearing mostly good things whenever I hear people talk about this. So,
it plays just fine.
That's why I'm curious if they actually changed anything.
They have the spin dash in it, of course, just like the other versions now. But the only reason I got Sonic 1 is that Space Harrier, the port they did of that was just absolutely fantastic. I mean, the 3D's really good in that, and the
if I get anything.
For me, I'm a big fan of Galaxy Force 2. Oh, that's another one I've been playing.
And I loved how they could control it with the stylus, and it really made a big difference in controlling the game and how well I was able to play on it. Yeah, anyway, these are fantastic ports. M2 is doing a really good job, and I'm looking forward to some of the others. As far as Taxmans goes, this Sonic 2.
You really need to try Galaxy Force.
Christian Whitehead, right? I just finished up the little hidden palace zone area with the brand new Eggman boss, so that was pretty sweet. Yeah, this is a pretty fantastic port as well. You can also play as Knuckles through the whole game, or just Sonic and Tails, or just alone.
Ooh!
And Tails can fly.
I need to get that.
Even in the
to be fair, you could play through Knuckles in the whole game in the original game.
Yeah, but
Sonic 3 together.
This is like you don't need Sonic and Knuckles for this one.
But you see, in order to do this, you have to lock another iPod or Android tablet on top of the original one.
Anyway, then the debug menu allows you to, allows you to set whether Tails flies or whether he even gets tired from flying. So you can have Tails just keep on going and not get tired at all. Which is a trip. Yeah, other than that, like I said, the soundtrack's great. They do a wonderful presentation on it, and I recommend it. Of course, a lot of people might already have Sonic 2 on iOS, and this is just an upgrade for them. So that makes it free. I don't know how much it costs without the upgrade if you're just going brand new.
Everything about it sounds great. I love the Sonic CD quote port that he did. But yeah, that is the sticking point because there is no such thing as a good touchpad D-pad. There is not, and I'm not going to play that game.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to probably go all the way up to 3, like a 3 and Knuckles, and then they're going to just release a whole collection onto digital download.
If they do that, I will totally get that. But they need to do that. That's what I believe
is what they're going to do. It's the only thing that makes sense, really. All right, now let's take a quick break, and then we'll head to Lost World.
Hello, Sonic fans. Thanks for tuning into our Sonic Talk Holiday Special. Now here's a Christmas song just for all of you. Except for that one guy. You know who you are. Stupid jerk. Christmas time is now here, bringing fun and good cheer to all those we hold dear, and even the assholes. I can't rhyme good right now. I'll talk like a cat now. Meow, 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 meow. I wasn't that stupid here at Christmas time, laying out in the snow when it's 40 below. Gives your cheeks such a glow, 'cause hypothermia just set in. Find yourself a little space by the warm fireplace. And curse the gods for ruining your fun at Christmas time. You buy gifts for your friends and it never ends. You end up in some massive debt. And what's an ironic mess is you spend a lot less when it's their birthday. And they manage to miss everything on your list. Even money would have been real nice. Starbucks gift card, oh gee, I don't even drink coffee. Thanks for nothing, douchebag. Wait, is it fading out? No, I'm not done. I want to keep singing, damn it. You can't stop me from singing. I'm going to be singing this song all night long, and there's nothing you can do about it. You heard me.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to start our talk about Sonic Lost World, but first, an important message from GX Echidna.
Well, I just kind of wanted to start this discussion off with one thing that perhaps we can all agree on, because I have a feeling that this is going to be a situation where we don't agree on a lot of points, but I feel like this is perhaps the one point in which we can find solid consensus.
Yay.
This Sonic Lost Worlds makes better, more effective use of nostalgia than the previous 2 Sonic games that were built to be nostalgic.
Interesting.
Which previous 2? I know Sonic Generations.
Sonic 4 and Sonic Generations.
Sonic 4 and Sonic Generations, I'll agree with you with that.
Okay.
I was going to say, Colors is highly original, but yeah.
Oh.
Sonic 4 and Sonic Generations definitely relied a lot on past stuff, while this one, it does have a lot of the, old school motif to it, while still being highly original on its own.
But I mean, even then, though, the stuff that they actually choose to use and the way that they actually choose to use it, in terms of nostalgia, I think they use it much more effectively than they ever did in Generations. Generations just, hey, we're using these things. This is, hey, we're actually building a world based on the ideas that we established in the Genesis.
Yeah, this is why I kind of put Colors above Generations on my top 5 list of the past generation. And that is that Sonic Generations, while technically better game overall. It's basically a best of, and it's not nothing.
Well,
really
no.
much.
Let's not not go there, because it does have I really like the level design and colors, and a lot of it is very original based on. It's very inspired, but it's still very original. So let's not say that it's just not original.
No, I'm saying colors is original, and Generations, while it's still fairly original, uses pretty much everything from its past, like it's a best of.
Colors is the point in which Izuka just goes crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think they went even more crazier on this one. I mean, I think part of the problem is they took every idea they had and didn't say no to anything, and just went hog wild.
But are we using the structure that you outlined?
Oh well, it can be good with like the hidden world at the end of when I think it's World 8 after you beat the main game, and there's all these crazy levels, and one or two of them are kind of sucks, and the other two are pretty cool. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with like this bonus level area of like bonus features like on a DVD. That's cool, but as far as the main game goes, you want something that's like more solid. But you know what? Yeah, we're getting off track here. I wanted to do like on both the Wii U and the 3DS versions. I want to do first like the good and the bad. And I think with the good as far as Sonic Lost World goes, well, besides its soundtrack, which is from Atani, which of course is awesome as always, and well, the story is half and half. We'll get to that later. But I do love some of the more innovative level designs that they did come up with. Like, for instance, the what am I thinking of? The Tropical Coast Act 1, or even the first few Windy Valleys. I have some nice little new touches to them. When they actually work the parkour correctly, it is kind of fun. Although for some reason the 3DS seems to do parkour a little better, even though the designs are terrible in comparison. But what else was I going to say? Like, I like the cylinders levels where you go kind of underground and you can go in pretty much any direction. You're on the ceiling, you're on the floor. Those are pretty cool. I even like the snowball level that everybody else hated from Frozen Factory Act 2. I thought that was fairly innovative. I do like the fact that there's a lot of innovation and originality coming into this game. But there's still, of course, a lot of mistakes as well. Alex, what do you think?
Okay, so let's see the positives. It's been a little while since I've played this game, so let me gather my thoughts. So, well, I really enjoyed I really enjoyed many of the cylindrical levels and the honeycomb level where you're just, you know what, I need to start over. I really enjoyed the amount of freedom this game could give you in regards to how you went through some of the levels. Like, the cylindrical levels were by far the best in the game. I really wish they had just focused on those throughout the game and cut out some of the lesser levels that I guess we'll be getting into later. But I like the parkour. Damn it! Yeah, I really should have played this game again before we did this.
The parkour can work, and it can be a detriment too. For some reason, it works better on 3DS. I don't know why, but I think it's a little bit more scripted, so Sonic will stick to the wall a little better. Or on this one, he just tends to slide down real fast. So it requires a lot more skill on the Wii U. That's one other thing I'll say that I like is as far as Sonic goes, is the control this time around. A lot of people are kind of bashing about Sonic being slower because you have to have an R button for run and then a separate button for spin dash.
You guys are really making me bite my tongue here. Be quiet. You really are.
You get to talk it a little bit.
Yeah, you'll get your chance soon. This is why we want you on here.
As far as working in this 3D space, I think it works better than, like, say, an adventure game does. But I can't say that about Unleashed or Generations, because that was all about mainly speed boosting and dodging left and right, more reactive. Then it would switch over to a 2D platforming thing, and then go back to 3D boost after that. But I do think that the spin dash itself is the best it's worked in 3D so far.
I liked the cylindrical worlds, the exploration. I actually liked the run button. I know a lot of people dislike, probably for good reason, because I'm sure it feels weird in a Sonic game having to press a run button to go fast. Yeah. But I felt that the run button added a certain amount of
it took a little getting used to.
Yeah, it took a little getting used to, but it added a certain amount of what's the word I'm looking for here?
Control.
No, okay. We'll go with control. It added a certain amount of nuance to the controls that other Sonic games that try to use analog. Push it a little bit to go slow, push it very hard to go fast. No one ever just pushes it a little bit unless you're playing a Metal Gear Solid game. We always push it all the way. And this kind of allows us to have more control over Sonic's speed, and it really helps you out in certain areas where you really don't want to go fast. I really enjoyed some of the more creative levels, and I liked that the game was actually really hard and punished you for dying because, well, you no longer got lives for every 100 rings. Now you do, of course, with the upcoming update.
The update's already there. I tried it out the other day.
Oh, wow. Sonic Stadium didn't report that. I thought that's because it wasn't out yet. Oh, my.
It's up.
Page. No, that they said it was coming. They didn't say it was out.
Yeah, that was one of my big complaints originally that I even mentioned to Aaron Weber. So our interviews seem a little old. Was that you weren't getting a life with 100 rings. So what was the point of collecting a whole bunch of rings? But even 10 rings can keep you from death.
But the more I look at it, the more I see the flaws that GX brings up. Of course, he can't. GX, I want you to open up the flaws portion of this, because I think you'll have enough to say.
There's going to be a lot of flaws. I'll admit. This game is like Unleashed for me, where it's it's a Sonic game I love, very flawed.
Yeah, for me, it's like Unleashed, except it's a lot better than Unleashed, because Unleashed had the Werehog, and it had, in my opinion, it had worse transgressions. It had QTEs. It had terrible frame rates. It had levels that really, well, you know what? I'm going to hold my tongue on Inks to Death, because that does happen quite a bit in Lost World. But for me, I felt that I didn't mind the Inks to Deaths in Lost World so much, because I felt like I could see him coming for the most part, and it was mostly me not paying attention to what was coming. But anyway, so I'm pretty much done. I guess I didn't really have much to say after not playing the game for 3 weeks, unfortunately. So GX, I can hear you. You really want to start saying stuff. Unfortunately, start with the positive, so you'll have to get that out of the way real quick.
He's been biting his tongue, and not just because he's got a toothache.
Right. You do have a toothache, don't you?
The thing is, this is a weird structure for me, because I'm not really prepared to just separate positives and negatives.
That's true.
It's more of a...
I kept having difficulties with that, too, during this.
Okay. One of the reasons I still...
Somebody's echoing.
Probably me.
Yeah, which means you need headphones or something.
I'm wearing headphones.
I don't know. And I don't know, your headphones
Turn down
are bad.
your volume or something. It's coming out of your speakers somehow.
No, there's nothing coming out of my speakers. And my mic is actually pointed away from my face, so I don't see how it can be coming out of be picking up any noise from the headphone.
Okay, go ahead.
For me, I still like seeing what Sonic Team and Iizuka and Sega do with the franchise, because they don't hold a lot of things sacred. And I do like that this is kind of like a separation, that this is them trying again to get the 3D to work in whatever way they can and not just have it be the straight line, because that's the gold standard that they've been trying to pursue, is to get Sonic to work in 3D, and they've tried so many different ways with varying degrees, but I personally don't think they've ever hit the 100% with it.
Yeah.
They've come really close with it. They've done very good things with colors and generations, and to some extent Unleashed. To some extent,
and to be honest, they could have played it safe and gone with that same kind of 3D style of gameplay, but they decided to be a little more innovative and try something new.
That's another thing I really enjoyed about Lost World, was that it was a very creative game. A little too creative, really, because we had some stages, but that goes in the negatives. We'll have to...
This game is too creative. I hate it.
I'd argue it is too creative. It should have stuck to a few formulas that work.
Here's the thing, though. Like Sonic, to me, it's more interesting than it is legitimately good. Like, there are some good, interesting ideas that I would like to see return and refined. The parkour system, I like parkour. I like the idea of there being a parkour system. But the problem is, I don't think they ever did anything effective with it.
No.
I think that there's...
I will say they did more effective stuff with it on 3DS than they did on Wii. But like I said, 3DS's level design is still shit.
I was expecting them to give me way more avenues for parkour than they ended up giving me.
But at the same time, I don't think there's really that much to the parkour system. You get like a run, you maybe get a wall run, and then you try to extend that with the spin dash. Like, is there really anything else beyond that?
It's basically like the cat suit in Mario Lost World, only
less
running on
good,
the side and less good.
Fun.
Yeah, I think the parkour system is okay as long as you eliminate the whole wall running thing. If you just have it like where you're going up running the side of a wall. Pardon me. Not side wall running, but if you're having to run straight up a wall, that's fine.
I think the level motif. The way that they're trying to go very abstract, I think that's interesting, and I think it led to some interesting levels. But I think overall, it mostly just made a lot of the levels very boring. That there just wasn't a lot going on in them. Some good examples were in the desert. Things are just so spread out that you have a lot of ground to cover to actually go anywhere. And there really just isn't that much on the sides. There really, to me, for a lot of people trying to praise this game for having like alternate paths and lots of exploration, I don't think that ever really pays off. That you can take these alternate paths, but they're really not all that different.
I think it worked in Windy Hill because it was a little smaller and a little tighter, but yeah, Dusty Ruins Act 1 was way too wide, and you'd easily get lost in it.
But
not get lost, but I mean, he'd be running around with kind of nothing to do, and you're like, okay, where do I go for the red rings? Because it was a little too wide and open. I kind of agree with GX on that.
But ultimately, like, the biggest issue I have is that the game itself, even with like the run button, it just feels like Sonic is always so slow. Like, even at maximum speed, that you heard, whenever I've been talking to you guys before, one of my biggest complaints is that I feel Sonic's jump sucks in this game.
Yeah,
and
that I honestly don't understand. It felt
and
fine
I think
to me.
And I think the problem is Sonic's maximum jump speed is the same as his maximum run speed. And I want his maximum run speed to be faster so that I can actually cover more ground. I think that's the biggest problem there, is that I feel like I should be going faster and I should be able to jump farther and I should be able to jump higher. I think the controls are... they're interesting, and I can see why you might want to split some things up, why you might not want the same things to be on the same buttons, but at the same time, it kind of turns into, why do you have all these redundant controls? Why do you have all these things that... And again, I think we can agree on this one. A lot of stuff is just poorly explained.
Oh, yes, yes. That's like the big thing we have to open up with. I guess we're already in the complaints.
I didn't even under the...
make me beg for Omochow to come back and explain things to me.
You know what? We don't need Omochow. Let's just resurrect Tikal from the dead. She had a decent voice.
I didn't even understand the parkour system until
I had
after
to explain the
the
game.
No, you didn't explain the parkour system. The parkour system, I had to figure out that, hey, you don't just wall run, because you can do a wall run, but your wall run sucks. You have to expand it by doing like spin dash and then jump and then run again and then spin dash and then just get into this rhythm of it. But they don't.
As far
as I can tell, they don't do a good job explaining that at all.
I didn't know about
I had to learn on my own.
I didn't even know about the delayed homing attack thing, where you can target multiple times on your homing attack without using it, until I got the Zavok.
To me, that was kind of self-explanatory, but I can definitely see how
I kept trying to kick
it.
him, and he would just keep backing up like he's going to fall, and I'd kick him again and nothing. I'm like, what's going on?
And that's kind of the weird thing about that they split that up, because I'm not sure what the value is to that, because again, I don't think they used it.
I don't like the kick,
and they
either.
required you to use it in lots of situations. I just didn't feel like there was any gameplay point to it. Like, what was the value in choosing? What is the value of choosing one over the other?
Are you talking about the homing attack and the kick?
The homing attack and the kick.
The kicks are for heavier bosses that won't be affected by homing attack regular, but
no, not heavier bosses, heavier enemies.
Well, heavier badniks.
But that doesn't. To me, that doesn't necessarily make it fun.
Also,
like, where's
in
my?
addition to that,
you can
Jason,
you can kick and attack multiple badniks at once if you hit them in a certain direction.
But what's the value in splitting that up? Like,
a homing attack for the enemy, into other enemies.
It's basically like light attack and heavy attack, but at the same time, it's not something people are used to.
It's not that I'm not used to it. I mean, I could get used to it after some point once I actually understood what it was. Like, I just don't get the purpose of it. Like, why would I want the option? What is the value of having the option?
Yeah.
Hello?
Well, like I said, it's just basically there in order to beat bigger badniks.
Well,
but the problem is the delayed homing attack should be able to do that too, but it doesn't really.
But I'm just saying, like, at what point what point am I getting something different out of using each? Out of choosing?
Well, it's kind of like a heavy attack and a light attack.
No, okay. Let's stop saying it's okay. Stop.
I wasn't done. It's kind of like a light attack and a heavy attack.
Shut up. Just shut up. Quit saying it's like a light attack and a heavy attack.
I'm trying to talk here, okay? You didn't let me finish.
You said it's like a light attack and a heavy attack 5 times.
Well, that's the question. You want me to answer or not?
I don't want you to say it's like a light attack.
It's like a light attack and a heavy attack in a beat-em-up game, where one is fast, it's meant to be a fast reactionary attack, and the other one, it's slower, and it's meant for heavier enemies, and it's meant to do more damage, and that's the value in it.
I know what a light attack and a heavy attack is. I just don't get its purpose in a
I just explained the purpose to you. It's for bad. It's the same as in a beat 'em up game. Do you want every beat 'em up just have one attack button?
Tell me the Sonic game where, as Sonic running, combat was done well. The Sonic game, as Sonic.
Honestly, Lost World battle. I don't think the battle system was done all that badly. I had a lot of fun with it. Sometimes, in the 3DS version,
The 3DS version has that stun
3DS
attack,
version,
and then you have to wait for your homing attack thing, your reticle to build up for a delayed homing attack to hit the enemy. And sometimes it would take like 3 minutes to kill, and it's not even a boss, it's just a large badnik.
I don't feel like I've ever played a Sonic game where when combat is a focus, it is done effectively. Like, I don't feel like I've ever...
Until Lost World, I would have agreed with you on that. But Lost World, I think, it was probably the first Sonic game to do combat reasonably well. Now, there does come a point where I think they focus on it too much within the game. But when there was just like a casual number of enemies...
Yeah, I'm like, I guess a good example...
I think really got things going, really made it a lot more fun than the same kind of battle in other Sonic games where you're just mashing the A button over and over again.
Yeah, I guess a good example of that would be when you're surrounded by spiders in the jungle level and you see their weak spot and you kick them to get them spinning, and then you can do a homing attack to knock them down. That's a little bit of strategy, and it doesn't take too long.
That is very basic.
That's the basics. I mean, for the most part, you don't get involved too much in the kick attack stuff unless it's a large badnik, and they're not around as much as the smaller ones are.
Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm editing the podcast right now, and as you can tell, the audio just kind of suddenly cut off, and we lost a little bit of the audio, and it took me a while to be able to jump back on Skype. Anyway, once I did come back on Skype, I just noticed now that I'm coming in normal, and Alex and GX are reverberating. They're sounding like they're talking through a fan, and then later they're just echoing and echoing. I apologize for that. If you don't want to listen to this, the poor audio quality in this part of the podcast, you can skip ahead to the Aaron Weber interview. That came out okay. And thank you very much for listening. And we'll continue on from now.
Okay, we're back, folks. We had a little trouble with Skype, as pretty much everybody who podcasts has trouble with Skype nowadays. But it was at a weird point where me and GX couldn't talk to each other, but I could talk to Alex. It was kind of freaky, but GX updated his Skype, and now everything seems to be working again. Hopefully I won't get cut off again.
Basically, just to sum it all up, I think, like, philosophically, I don't get the value of having two types of attack. I don't think it adds to the game. I don't think it makes the gameplay or combat more interesting. I guess you guys disagree, but overall I don't think. But my final point is, I think the pacing, both inside and outside the levels, is not good. Like, the overworld is, it's dumb to have the wall of these small animals, because it only seems to serve the purpose of, hey, I have to play the dumb circus levels that aren't good.
Yeah, what is with the Circus Atari levels? Why are they even in this? They're lousy
because they
for
want
bonus levels.
They want to use the Wii U controls, and I guess that's what they come up with, and it's just not good.
I think when they thought up the walls as far as unlocking all those animals, they realized there was a point where people were going to get frustrated, and they had to slap something in at the last minute. And so
here's the thing, though. Sonic Team is famous for this crap. I mean,
yes.
They always shove in missions where they don't belong. They always make you do stuff that you don't necessarily want to do. Like, Generations had that thing where you have to go through the missions. And I like a lot of the missions in that game, but if I'm playing the game, I don't want to be sidetracked by that kind of stuff. And I think it's just them trying to elongate.
Sidetracked as long as it's something I could do option, like later. I want to just play through the main game, fine. Then that's why everything else should just be something extra.
See, this is something that Sonic Team has been doing for a while to artificially lengthen their games.
They artificially their games terrible.
This is something Sonic Team's been doing a while to artificially lengthen their games, where they put up walls, they make you do things. It's busy work. It's all busy work, and it's stupid. And I don't know why they continue to do this, especially in a game like Sonic Lost World, where I really don't think they needed to.
I bet I can tell you why, and I think it's just because I think they're afraid that they're going to make a short game.
Yeah,
What's crazy is that they do make short games. They're usually only 5 to 6 hours long, and people tend to enjoy those kind of Sonic games more than
there are people who
stretching
bitch
Unleashed
about
for 10 hours and making you hunt frickin' Sun and Moon medals, which was the worst part of the game for me.
Yeah.
On
Now,
Unleashed.
in regards
But
to
inside,
the wall, I actually only ran into the wall once near the end of the game. Because, I don't know, I guess was a little obsessed with collecting animals, and plus I did play a few levels before I got to the end of the game, so it wasn't really a big issue for me, but
I don't think you get enough animals in the level to justify. Like it almost feels like you kind of have to go back to the surface levels just because.
Oh,
it
no,
does
I did surface levels once, and that was, well, okay, 3 times because I was curious about what they were, but I never got many animals there because I sucked at them, and I pretty much went to the beehive level for lives and for animals, and it was very effective.
So there was a point in which you kind of just grinded then?
There was one
The beehive
near the end of
level
the
is your grind level. It is the level that has the most 1-ups for... You can get like 4 1-ups at once and then die, then get 4 more 1-ups to die, 4 more 1-ups to die.
Now, you see, I never...
Every time you hit one of those bees, you get you free an animal.
And to be fair, I've done this in every Sonic game, where I go back to an easy level. I've done Mario games, where I go back to an easy level with lots of coins, rings, lives, and I just grind the crap out of it.
And I can't do that. Like, that would be terrible to me. Like, I didn't grind this one. I got game over like a billion times.
I got game over plenty of times too.
But going back to my pacing,
do you
Pacing,
go
yeah.
back for the red rings usually, or no?
this game I started to, but it didn't feel like they were as entertainingly placed as they were in Colors. Like it was not as much fun to hunt them down. In terms of they weren't necessarily out in the open, but meaning Colors are in this game.
In this game.
I don't know if they were necessarily out in the open. They were still hidden. But part of it is because I wasn't having as much fun on the gameplay. But like the pacing within the gameplay, I just like Sonic doesn't feel like he moves smoothly. I don't know if you ran into this, but if you ever have to shift the direction that you're moving, I don't know if it's necessarily that he slows down. Does he slow down when you do this? I swear it feels like he slows down whenever you turn.
I think his speed is pretty uniform when he turns. And I never noticed any issue like that.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't have any problems with it. Like during the ice level, I would let go of the run and turn around the other way, and I actually had better control that way using the run. But yeah, I do agree that the run needs to be a little faster. As far as the Circus of Fire goes, I would have much rather had like a bonus level like. In the Hidden Worlds, there is a trench run you could do with the tornado with Sonic and Tails.
I did not like that level at all.
I liked it. I thought that would have been good for a bonus level.
If you graze a wall, your plane explodes. I mean, I realize that's what would actually happen, but damn it. It's a video game. You have it bounced off or something.
It sounds like you had a bigger problem with that level than I did.
That's why I stopped playing the game was with that level. I thought, oh, cool, bonus stages. Oh, hell, what the hell is this? I mean, it's nothing like, we're talking about negatives.
So you didn't even
For
get
me,
the giant fuzzy Pac-Man chasing you?
What? The giant Pac-Man chase scene?
Yeah. Did you ever
Oh, no,
I
never got to that. I only got to the biplane level.
Really? That's not that hard a level, I thought.
It's a hard level, damn it. Quiet. Be quiet. Stupid. Shut up.
I'll end with this, though. I will end with this. Like, I can't recommend this game over any other major Wii U platformer that's out right now. Like, this is if you played Mario, get Mario over it, get Rayman over it,
Yeah,
you're probably
going
to get Donkey Kong over it whenever that game comes out. But it's right now it's like second tier, third tier in terms of how good it is. But at the same time, like if I have to end with anything positive about it, I liked the final boss. I thought the final boss was really fun.
Yeah, the final boss was cool.
It was a little deja vu, though. I mean, that's basically the same in colors.
It definitely is. And you know what?
Yeah, that's an awesome
Some
ball.
people complain about this, that they kind of want this out of it. You know what? I'm fine if I don't be Supersonic in this game. Because Supersonic doesn't need to belong in every game. We don't need the formula.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I like
Special.
about Sonic Colors, too, that is I didn't have to be Supersonic.
Sonic Colors had an awesome final boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Sonic Colors final boss probably remains.
It's weird, though, with
My
the
favorite
Colors team,
final
they do the
Sonic.
easy bosses, and then the final boss ends up being just right.
Oh, I take that back. I do have one more thing.
Okay.
Ooh.
I don't like any of the colors powers in this game. Like, I don't like any of them. I think I absolutely hate the pause in between getting them and initiating them and going back to it.
You press R, then you press A, then you start the color thing, and then it freezes up at the end, and then you press A again.
Pacing. Just bad pacing.
Yeah, really.
But
And
you know what?
That didn't bother me. What did bother
Half
me
the
were
time you never even
some of the
use them,
motion-based
half
ones.
the time you would completely pass them up and not even realize they were there. They
Float
weren't
was one of my
to the level
favorites.
design like Sonic Colors they were.
Float was one of my favorites in colors. In this one, it's like, eh.
Huh.
Yeah.
Aren't they pretty much the same things, just it's only used in 3D this time?
No, well, not entirely. I mean,
Drill in 3D
I love.
is horrible too. It's fine in 2D, but man, Drill in 3D just does not work.
Yeah, but it felt like an afterthought. It felt like, hey, let's just use this in order to find some way to cram in the use of the gamepad.
And the wisps are not
Yeah.
explained in the story either. Why they're there?
Who cares?
So much on the trapped animals. They're like,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not letting this pass.
I don't
Who
care.
legitimately cares that
He
the
does.
wisps aren't explained in the story?
Jason
In
does.
this
He is
Sonic
living
story.
proof right in front of you.
all I want is
This-
a little byline, just one sentence, and that's it.
I would prefer to make up my own reason, like perhaps after Eggman destroyed their planet by turning them into giant theme parks, they were forced to find a new home on Sonic's world.
Or how about this? Since I'm sure one of the complaints that we're going to get, that you guys are going to get into, we might as well delve into this now. The story.
Okay,
The story
yeah,
is nothing.
exactly
The
right.
story is nothing in this game, and unfortunately, like there is a lot of nothing. Like for
doesn't-
there
the
to
problem-
be this much story, you'd hope there was something, but there
The
just
story was
isn't.
annoying.
It's like it couldn't decide whether it wanted to be silly and wacky or serious and dark, and it just.
It was weird when it got dark.
It was never serious and dark. Let's be honest. It
tried to be serious and dark.
no, it did not. It did not try to be
How
serious.
long did it
Well,
push the street
at one point,
dramatically?
Sonic was under the assumption that Amy and Knuckles were dead, and that Tails was a robot, and that Eggman was dead.
Yeah, but that's kind of reading into it. It never really played into that. Like, it never really focused on that. It's just, there
I
were...
don't like what they did with Tails, so when they made him just this egotistical...
Oh, I
bastard.
enjoy Tails.
I
Tails
like
is
Tails.
so
No,
boring, but this one is a douchebag.
Yeah, he's a douchebag.
Because
Douchebag.
No,
I like
so
that.
let's
It
be
gave him
honest.
personality.
Sonic was the douchebag in this one.
Yeah, at least
He really was.
Up
Yeah.
being a douchebag.
Yeah, but he still was. I mean, the thing is, I like douchebag Sonic. Like, that is the deal in Sonic.
I will say I like the way they portrayed Sonic in this one, and I like the Eggman in it as well. But the main thing I wanted to focus on was the bots. I mean, not the bots. The bosses. The Deadly
The Deadly Seven, or the Deadly Six.
Yeah.
Oh, can I complain about those now? I want to complain about those now.
If you look on the recent behind-the-scenes stuff on their how they designed characters and stuff, they basically said that they designed them after ogres, and each ogre had a personality type, and that's how they designed them. And that's not how you make good characters. It's just give them a
it's
good
not.
personality.
Well,
These
and
are horrible
that would be
characters.
fine if they
These are
tried to
like
make. That would be fine if they were just like enemies. But they did try to make them characters.
Yeah, they weren't characters. They were walking stereotypes. That was all there was to them.
There's just so much cutscene for no story.
And then you had talking constantly through a level when they were getting near the boss, and it's not like in Colors where he's saying all this hilarious stuff. These jokes just flat.
Enemies just taunting you.
The worst.
Hey, I like emo guy.
I'll admit I liked Zor. I thought Zor's stuff was funny because
the worst
you don't see that caricature too often.
The worst part of it is that at least with the Eggman PA ones, it was randomized.
Yeah.
Here, if you die, you hear it again. If you die, freaking owl level. I heard that phrase 50 times. I exaggerated, but it made me want to strangle that boss all the more.
Boss. Absolute insult to heavyweight people like me. I mean, I don't just sit around eating all day long and just obsess over food.
Can I please just
insult the heavyweight people?
Yes. Please don't want to go on a rant. Don't want to interrupt you guys. Can I go on my rant? Okay. Honestly, damn it. I think it's too late. Let me try. I hate these bosses. These are the I hate these stereotypes. I hate these. I can't call them characters because a character needs to have
characters.
Yeah,
they're archetypes. They're like one-dimensional archetypes.
Yeah, okay, they're one-dimensional archetypes. These one-dimensional archetypes piss me the hell off because these are the worst, most annoying archetypes aside from Red Dude. I can't remember their names. I call them
Zaz. But I like Zaz's voice.
Zaz's voice is easily defeatable. I mean, he's the first boss, and he tried to talk.
He's actually probably the least generic out of all of them, too.
What is Zaz's kind of accent? Is he supposed to be slightly aggressive New Orleans or something?
I don't know.
That's what it's
It's a voice I've heard before. Like I don't know. Like it's an angry. Like an angry New Orleans dude.
Like he's totally from the bayou or something.
Yeah, it has to be.
All I know is that I am playing the Android version of Rush. Sonic Dash, Rush DS. Sonic Dash on that. All I can remember is I'm gonna beat you like drum or something. Over and over. It's like. You know what? I hate this boss battle, and it's terrible, and it's stupid, but that still kind of saves it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's so dumb. It's so terrible.
Okay. I don't know. But as I was saying, I hate these kinds of archetypes because it's so often used in storylines. They want to give us to take a quick shortcut. Just a quick one-dimensional character to fill the role. And if it's a small role, that's fine. Like if you want to make this sassy bitch, but you'll only have 10 lines. Okay, fine. But you're going to make her like a focal point to about an hour of gameplay. You have to give her more. And I kept looking for that in this game. Give me something more. Because Sonic is the same franchise that gave us Robotnik, I think, is a very good villain in terms of character.
He's gotten better.
He has gotten better.
The fun thing about
this game in terms of story is Robotnik.
The best thing about the last few games, I'm going to say, is Robotnik. Because Sonic's strength in story, he is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, God, even your least favorite Sonic characters, like maybe Shadow or Rouge.
They had characters.
Yeah, they have a character. They have backgrounds. You realize why they're doing what they're doing.
I still have no idea what these things are.
Why they even bother doing this stuff. Yeah, you don't know. Are they related? Are they the only inhabitants of this planet, and they're just all jerks?
Well, Eggman does indicate that there are other Zeti, or maybe he was going to take them over again. I don't know. I assume that they died at the end, but I think that their weapons
die again at the end. They
poof. They poof. They poofed. They disappeared. They didn't fly away. They poofed. That tells you that they died.
He's like a master ninja guy. He just poofs, could poof.
Okay, so maybe he's alive. Everyone else, I'm pretty sure, is dead, at least as far as I'm concerned. I don't mind that they're dead.
Was a horrible stereotype, because all he was
God, he was the wise old man. But he didn't have any Master Sifu's interesting little character quirks. He didn't have anything.
No, except for Mike Pollock's voice.
Oh yeah. He did have Mike Pollock's voice. The voice acting, okay. That's like the one positive thing to say about all these characters. That aside from maybe Fat Guy and Sassy Bitch, which that's their name.
That is their names. No, I will agree with the only thing missing though is you need to add like 5 Z's to it.
Okay, so
like that guys.
The punk, fat ass, sassy bitch, emo, kung fu master, and leader.
And the sad thing is, like, I saw what these characters were with the very first trailer. You can sum them up in about 30 seconds.
Koopalings.
What?
Bowser and Koopalings.
Yeah, what about them?
That's them?
Yeah, but I don't know. Bowser, I feel like... I think even Bowser...
Bowser and Koopalings still have better character design, I mean...
I think because
way better character.
Talk, you can actually kind of make a character around them in your own imagination, where here, you know how they are.
There's no point in having this many cutscenes in this game. It's
really
like they just have this cutscene, but just like, do whatever.
Now, I will say, as far as negatives go, my big gripe has always been, and will continue to be, how boring the boss characters were. But I did enjoy, in this game, Robotnik, I enjoyed Cubot and Orbot, and I enjoyed Tails being a douchebag. I like those aspects of it. So I probably like the story more than you guys did. But I've heard
everything except the plot.
Dark.
I like Orbot. I like how he was raising his hands as far as saying that Eggman said.
When the story got dark, it just felt so out of place.
I wouldn't even call it dark, though.
Okay.
Like, this is maybe mild cartoon dark. But even then...
Dark for what was, in the beginning, a kind of a happy, boppy Sonic game. It's like if all of a sudden Bowser, in the middle of Mario 3D World, activated this weapon that would suck the life out of the princesses that they were rescuing, and everybody was dying. You know, to me, that's how out of place that plot point was.
Anyway, let's get on to the 3DS version real quick, because I have a lot of shit to talk about that one. Have you played the 3DS version, GX?
No, I'm burnt enough on the Wii U version. It's like I don't even see a good point. Plus, I mean,
okay, did you play the demo at least of it?
I have not even played the demo. Money's an issue, and I don't feel like it's going to be that valuable an experience in comparison, especially with how
that is true. I personally enjoy quite a bit.
I will say they did a better job at least trying to make a better game. Dimps tends to make good games as far as mechanics go, controls,
and in terms of execution.
Technicalities, execution on mechanics, and that, but when it comes to actual level design is where they tend to fuck up the most.
That game had to be cut out. Half this game shouldn't be in the game. Because there were some levels that I really enjoyed. Some levels I thought were okay. And there were like about, I don't know, like bunch of levels that really needed to cut out. Like the fruit pushing one, stupid, pointless, doesn't use the mechanics at all. There's no reason for it to be here. It's just a great big time waster. The snow
Factory Act 3, where you have that damn female snowman chasing you, constantly killing
honestly,
the giant boulder. That one was one of the worst Sonic levels I've ever played in my life. I hate it so much.
You know how you like something.
GX went to the bathroom. He's not here right now.
Oh, okay. Well, GX can really like something because it's really, really bad. For me, that was kind of snowball act for me. There was just something about that. Even though I knew that this was a bad level, I was still having fun with it. And part of it was being chased by a demon snowman, or girl, was it?
Yeah, I hate the level design of having to unlock a bunch of the critters to open this gate to get to the next area, to do this, to open another gate. I mean, if you're doing a platformer, I want to go from point A to point B and have like obstacles in my way to offer challenge in that, but I don't have to go from point A to point B to point C to point D to point E to point F, and I have to unlock all these stupid gates in the meantime, and that just drove me nuts. I didn't even like that one level that they had at the E3 demo from the Dusty Ruins, the 2D.
I didn't like the Dusty Ruins level that much when I actually got to play it in the actual game. At E3, I didn't really care for it, but in the actual game, I didn't think it was so bad.
It's weird. It's like the level quality started out really good with Windy Hill because they were basically imitating the Wii U version for the most part.
Yeah.
The cylindrical level. Then it went down. It started out okay on Dusty Ruins, then it went down a little bit, and then went really down in Frozen Factory, and then it started to pick back up a little bit.
The
forest area and stuff.
It's like a structure where the first level was a really good 3D level, the second level was a good 2D level, and the third level was this terrible.
And what drives me nuts is there's a lot of stuff that they executed way better than the Wii U did.
Yeah, like the parkour. I like how I can jump.
The parkour works great. The parkour works great on this compared to Wii U.
Your character sticks to the wall up there. I mean, at the very least, it's easier to execute the parkour.
There's a tutorial level that helps.
And there's a tutorial
level. Yeah.
Which, I mean, actually, the tutorials in this game did kind of annoy me because I'd keep accidentally walking across the question mark, and then it would repeat the message to me again, and it would pause the game, and it was annoying.
Around the question mark, it's not.
But there are better ways to do it than what either Lost World is.
And he's right there. I mean, you don't want tutorials to be intrusive, but you don't want them to be completely absent. Like it was stupid to have it go on the touchscreen in the Wii U version. If it just completely stops pace, even if you've already done it, it's to do it this way here.
Well, that's why I didn't mind it being mostly on one level. They had one tutorial level basically in that game.
If I may make a proposal in regards to tutorials, the reason why people hate Oma Chow is because he was annoying. And so instead of having Oma Chow, how about we have a floating radio thing that you run into, and as you run past, Tails gives you instructions.
They've done it. I'm also thinking of it. Okay,
that's exactly what happened in Sonic Colors, Alex.
Let me throw back even. Let me throw back even further. That's what they did in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay, that doesn't count because Shadow the Hedgehog was a bad game. It was like everything about that was a bad game.
Hey, they tutorialized all right.
I have a controversial opinion. I hated Shadow more than I hated Sonic 06.
Oh, it's not that controversial. They're both really bad games.
They're both dumb. I'm just saying. Hey, they came up with a solution.
More. At least with Sonic 06, it's so bad you can poke fun at it from time to time.
Are you sure that's? I don't remember that there being a Tails-centric tutorial in Sonic Colors.
Well, yeah. I mean, he stops you and he says, "Oh, Sonic," and then you get a little text, and then you keep going.
No, I don't think. Do they even stop you? Like, I thought they just, that's the thing. The tutorials in the past ones were always just vocalized. They just told you what to do. They didn't stop you to read text.
Yeah, that's what the 3DS Lost World does, in case you were in the bathroom we were talking about.
I was in the restroom, so...
Yeah, so basically what I was saying is that there's a lot of functionalities that Dimps has done really well with this game, better than Wii U. Like, parkour is better on 3DS than it is on Wii U. Controls tend to be better on the 3DS than it is on the Wii U. Tutorials better. It actually has better implements of the. It has better implements of the wisps this time around. You could play through the game and then unlock them in later levels to find red rings and stuff, like it was in Colors.
And remember,
everything else kind of stinks. The level design is what's really, really killing it.
I really want to say everything stinks. There were some levels.
They can get mechanics well executed, but they just fail on level design overall, especially when they try to have to do original stuff. Because when the first world, when they were copying Windy Valley, they did a great job. It was a fun world, but then when they started getting to more original levels, it started to stink.
This is, I guess, where we disagree. Because I really enjoyed the proper 3D stages, like the first level of Windy Valley, first level of Desert Ruins. I really. Sorry, go on.
I'd say I enjoyed about half the proper 3D stages, and then the 2D stages, I felt they zoomed in too much on Sonic. It was like in Sonic Force.
I enjoyed the stages. I didn't have any issues.
How about we put it in this context? How do you feel the gulf is between this game and the Wii U version versus Generations and the high def version?
Smaller, definitely smaller. Whereas Generations, I think the level by and large pretty consistently good, and the 3DS version, like there were a couple of good levels in the beginning, and then in the middle there were just these three awful Dreamcast stages that were horrible, boring, and clearly poorly designed.
Yeah, we understand it down really bad in the middle, then it picks up a little bit better in the end. And I will say the bosses are better as far as fighting the bosses. They're not so easy.
Now, personally, I enjoyed the Lost World 3DS a lot more than the World Generations Colors. I really love many of the 3D stages. I mean, there were
I did tend to like this one better than Generations or Colors. I thought Colors was a major disappointment on the.
Colors was off. Colors was just terrible. Generations
just blah pretty much through the whole thing.
Generations I got into a bit more. I think I might have
same
with you guys, but
I enjoyed the first three stages. I think the last two, but the middle Dreamcast ones were I really didn't like it all.
I just
we're about the same then.
I kind of feel like right now I might have said this time whenever Generations was out. I'm just kind of lamenting that we're probably not gonna get a good exclusive portable Sonic game again. I think that any other time that we get it, it's gonna be the little brother to the big one, and it's not gonna be. No, we had Rush. We had.
I'm talking about like ports, yeah. I hope we eventually get another exclusive portable.
I would love it, but I don't think we're going to get it because I don't think that they want to. I don't think they want to spend money on marketing for one version on one.
They don't market the games at all. Like we get some magazines.
You say that, but they still do. I mean, it's still still the knowing of there being a new Sonic game. Like you say that.
I did see Sonic Lost World TV commercials, to be honest. I did see them.
But I'm
not talking about Sonic Rush and Adventure. I'm saying they didn't market those games.
Oh no, they didn't. But at the same time, it was a different era. Like there were different expectations. And my guess is that Rush did well, and that Adventure probably did not do as well. Would be my guess. Although this is not based on any data whatsoever. This is just my hunch.
Yeah.
Well, magazines were still around back then. I think they still got like support ads and magazines and such.
Now, for me personally, I would consider 3DS, Lost World 3DS a good, flawed Sonic game. Flawed, good. I still go back to play the good stages. They need to cut out about half the game to be a lot for doing a lot better. And it's a
Like
real
I said,
real
it needs to
game.
be more. It
Both
needs to be a lot.
games. They did not leave anything on the cutting floor. It's like we're desperate for ways to make levels really quick because we can't make enough stage time.
I didn't mention the bonus stages yet.
No, actually, screw the bonus stages. How about Skyroad Act 3? Oh wait, we're 3DS version. Right.
Yeah.
We didn't mention Skyroad Act 3.
In the 3DS version, it's just
Yes,
boss battles together. Oh, no, the lava one.
Yeah, you're thinking of the lava level.
Yeah, Skyroad is just all casino for some reason.
No, that's not true at all. There was a Skyroad stage that it was in the air, it was on a green thing, and you went from rocket to rocket, you shot through the air. It was a lot of fun. So there was that stage. I think that was Skyroad.
Yeah, I want to talk real quick about the bonus levels in 3DS, because that's another thing where they went back to the additional, you earn enough rings to get to a bonus level, but this one was completely gyro-controlled.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And you have to play this in an open area, where you're either on a swivel chair, where you can turn 360 degrees everywhere.
Why don't they just make the stages built on blowing into the microphone?
This is why I didn't even bother with the bonus levels, because I couldn't play them in public, which is where I usually play my 3DSs on my break at work. And this one, you're literally Sonic flying through space, collecting up, I think, orbs, kind of like in Sonic 3, but in full 3D space, and you have to press like R to make them fly or something, and you had to control them completely with the gyro control all over. You just aiming and pointing, and it's the most ridiculous 3D bonus level I think I've ever played in a Sonic game. I hated it.
I had fun with it, but I only played it once because, as you said, you literally can't play it anywhere.
Yeah, what about kids who are playing this game in a car and they're in their seatbelts and they can't, control Sonic because he can't go anywhere? If they patched the Wii version to go to regular stick controls for the Wisps, then they have to do it for 3DS. That would fix a lot of problems.
I think patch is more difficult. It's like you have to release the patch on the eShop to be downloaded.
Plus, I think that the people who care who care enough to own the Wii U care more about making sure the game is right. I don't think there's going to be as many people that actually care about fixing the
stages.
It sounds like we're kind of starting to wrap
I'm actually surprised we even got a patch on the Wii U version.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty substantial patch, which was nice. So what were you saying, GX?
Since it sounds like we're kind of starting to wrap the conversation.
Yeah, we are.
I was going to say, did we want to pay any lip service to the 90s content?
The 90s content.
No, the 90s content.
I thought, didn't we kind of... Oh, the 90s content.
Nice.
Yeah, the whole thing lasted a whole 5 minutes that they were hyping up so much.
It's weird because, I mean, if anyone who's still haven't gotten the game and is considering it, basically it's what? A boss rush with skins?
It's basically a boss rush with skins, only they're much easier. Much easier than they are in the regular game.
I can't really talk about this because I bought the game
within 5 minutes.
No, the digital version should have had it.
It was like an ad for Night.
Oh, I thought it had.
It was supposed to, wasn't it?
Apparently, it's exclusive to GameStop.
So no, it's not exclusive to GameStop.
All the stores, all the new copies of that game have them. And
I looked it up on Sega, and Kelly Parker herself said that only the physical copies had it.
That's stupid. That's just
very
stupid.
Like I said, you might as well just go on YouTube and watch it for 5 minutes and be done with it.
I'm probably going to buy the game for my niece and then just take the code. She doesn't care about Nikes. Because I'm a massive Nikes fan, and yet, no, I don't get the boss things. I probably would appreciate those things way more than
wrong, though. They should have given you that if you downloaded it digitally.
Yeah.
I mean, it still looked nice. I mean, if you can say anything, you can say that. It still looked nice, but the whole game looked nice. Like it's a nice-looking game.
There's only one frame rate issue throughout that entire thing, throughout the entire game.
I think in Tropical Coast, you go up, you bounce up into this one area where there's a bunch of barrels and boxes on a big maze, and for some reason it chugged really bad. during that part, and then it went back to 60 almost immediately. And I like the simple visuals. I love the fact that the simple visuals give you 60 frames per second. You know, because Generations, there was so much detail, but at 30 frames per second, it just became a blur. And
Generations unleashed both had terrible frame rates.
You know what? Though, I think that it's still a better trade-off. Like, it's nice. It's kind of neat that it looks as simple as it does. I still like the art direction of those games a lot more than I like the art direction of this. It's okay, but it's not distinct. Like, it just looks like it is. Yeah. It's almost too simple to a fault.
I disagree with that. I think the game has a nice stylized to it that's very reminiscent of the...
No, I'm not saying it doesn't bad. I'm just saying that the other games look nicer. Like Generations looks nicer. Unleashed looks nice. I like the environment that it takes me to. These environments are okay, but they don't feel... They don't feel iconic.
For me, those environments, especially Unleashed, were too realistic to really be distinctive. Like, especially the jungle level, which was both really realistic and had terrible frame rate. Like, it looked nice. It had night. The water looked great.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it looked nice.
It didn't look as. I prefer the stylized look to the more realistic look of Generations, to a lesser extent of Unleashed, and to a lesser extent Generations. Generations.
Okay, we're all going to have to wrap this up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put in our interview with Aaron Weber, and we'll be right back with our final thoughts. Hey guys, I'm about to post the Aaron Weber interview at this portion, but I just wanted to warn you guys. So once again, we're still having audio problems because the Super Tintin Skype recording program is a piece of shit, especially if you get 3 people or more. So you'll hear most of the audio, but every once in a while there's some audio popping in and out on the first half, and on the second half it stays pretty much steady, but there's some echoing. So I apologize for that in advance. If anybody wants to transcribe the interview, that would be just awesome. Alright, and we'll be starting it up right now. Thank you very much. Sorry for this. Have patience with us on this. Thank you very much. And now, here we go.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the interview portion of our podcast. We're here today with Aaron Weber and Kelly Carter. We'll be asking them some questions about Sonic Lost World and some other things. How are you doing today?
Hello? Yeah, doing well. Thanks for having us.
And Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome. So, but before we go into Sonic Lost World, I'd like to talk about Sonic Boom 2013. This year you decided to hold it someplace aside from the West Coast, St. Louis. How did that event go this year?
Oh, it went great. And I think one of the best things about an event like Sonic Boom is that it's something it's really kind of rare for the fans, right? This is, the third year that we've done it. And so I think having it at a location that wasn't on the West Coast was really nice for all those people that maybe don't live, in California like many of us do, or they live in Missouri, for example, or they live out there in the Midwest or the East Coast. So it's much closer for them to attend. And so it's kind of really nice to be able to open up a big event like that for more people. And in terms of how the event went, I mean, it's always fun to have Crush 40 playing live on the stage. If you haven't seen them live and you're a big Sonic fan, I highly recommend it. It's a pretty cool experience, right? And then in addition to that, we had some really cool merchandise. We always have some really cool merch that we give out. This year we had those exclusive Chow bobbleheads that were all individually numbered, and so a lot of work went into those bobbleheads, and hopefully the fans really enjoyed them. We saw a lot of people smiling at the end when they got them, so that made it for me. So.
Now, from what I heard, you might be planning to bring this. Somebody was rumoring you're planning to bring this further east. Is New York a possibility? That might encourage me to take a trip out there.
Well, as always, take any rumor you hear with a grain of salt. We don't have any announcements right now, so as always, stay tuned.
All right, now since let me go ahead and answer this if that's okay, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, since I'm in Southern California, I couldn't make the long trip to Sonic Boom this year. However, many of us SoCal Sonic fans did make our own little events this year, and now have organized a Sonic Revolution event for next year. And I believe they're setting up some kind of Sonic convention in Utah. I think that actually already happened. What do you think about Sonic fans from different states organizing their own meetups and conventions?
That's a good question. So personally, I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. And I'm happy to say, additionally, that we as Sega feel that that's great as well. When you guys can organize as fans and start creating events like this and running it yourself, I think it says a lot. Not only to the effectiveness of Sonic fans in terms of actually putting that together, but just to the organizational and the elements of sort of bringing people and Sonic fans together that you guys can do. We think it's a great thing. So a lot of people maybe can't go to Sonic Boom every year. Maybe they can't get out to St. Louis if it was this year. Maybe they couldn't get out to California last year. But if fans in their own local area can organize something, that's a great thing because that's an option for them. That's a place where they can go and meet other Sonic fans and people who share their similar interests and likes and know the weird jokes about the Tails doll and all that stuff, right? It's cool when you meet up with fans who share that history and that passion that you share. So, the short answer is Sega thinks it's great and we encourage it.
Now, the reviews are in for Sonic Lost World. Sonic fans have always had kind of a hate-hate relationship with reviews, at least ever since the early 2000s. But the reviews for this have been pretty polarizing, ranging from Nintendo World Reports 9 to GameSbox 5, and I think that there's even a 4 out there. What do you think about this?
Well,
I think you think there's like.
Okay. So why is this? Why are people? Why are the reviews so varied? I think it all comes down to personal opinion, and I think that's you're gonna find that with a lot of different games. In particular, with Sonic, though, you're gonna notice that a lot because all of us have different sort of nostalgic memories of Sonic, and when you think back to what does Sonic mean to you, right? All of our experiences are very different, and I think for some people that can mean that they go into a game expecting something perhaps very different from what they might get. And for other people, it's just the opposite effect. They're expecting something very similar to what they get, and they love it more almost because of that. And so I think with Sonic Lost World in particular, I mean, everyone's going to have different opinions, as mentioned. But it's a case where there's no right or wrong. Right? There's not a black and white sort of this is a good opinion, this is a bad opinion.
Well, there are opinions that there are there are opinions that have very little thought put in them, both good and bad, for the record. But both
Yes.
positive and negative, I would say. But
yeah, and there was at least one review I saw that had like a factual error in it, and that's a little frustrating when you read a review and you're like, that's completely incorrect. That's not actually true. But beyond that, I think it's just a case of what does somebody expect when they pick up a Sonic game and they pop it into the Wii U and they're like, okay, it's a Sonic game. It's going to be like this. So that's really, I think, all it comes down to. And as mentioned, there really is no right or wrong, and it is what it is.
yeah, even on the Sega Bix, even among the Sega Bix staff, the game's been pretty divisive. I mean, Jason Barry, and Barry the Nomad all love the game. But, we've got Ben, who really seems to dislike it, and we've also got Chris, or GX Echidna from the Spin Dash, who isn't a fan of the controls, and there are issues I never really thought about, like the picks not being marked and stuff. But for me, I really liked how difficult the game was and how hardcore the platforming could be. And when you got hardcore platforming, there's going to be lots of bombless picks. So
Yeah, it's just normal.
this is definitely looking kind of like a Sonic Heroes situation, where some people love it, some people hate it.
I was going to say, a lot of the negative reviews were complaining about, like, the newer controls. They're quite a bit more complex. We've gone from Sonic using
I enjoy the controls.
one button on the Genesis pad for jumping or spin dashing to several buttons for a multitude of commands. Do you feel that has the way Sonic controls gotten a little too complex for its own good?
I don't really think it's gotten too complex when it comes down to it. Perhaps the parkour can be seen as a complex element of the game, but when you boil it down, Sonic Lost World is runarounds. You can control the speed and then jump, and those are kind of like just the key elements is move and jump. And I don't think that's too complex. And then, of course, you add the homing attack and you add the option to jump instead of it. But personally, as a Sonic, I really appreciated that and adjusted it so that now, one button is always double jump and one button is always homing attack. So you have full control over that. And you could argue perhaps that, yes, it makes it more complex, but I think there's also something to be said about giving the player more control and more freedom over Sonic, especially as previously that was one of the chief concerns. Right, and one of the complaints that people would say is, I don't have enough control, and then you give them a lot of control. Now perhaps some people are saying, it's too much. I simplify it again. So I don't think you're not going to find a good perfect state where everyone's going to be happy. But and again, that all comes back to perception and what people are expecting out of it, right? But I personally appreciated having more control over it as opposed to having less.
I do think having a run button was an important, new part put in. I mean, I think it was Lost Factory Act 1. They're slipping around, and if I was running too fast, let go of that run button and pull back, I was able to have a lot more control than I was before.
I will say the way the jumping controls are done here is much more intelligent than just giving the homing attack its own button like in Sonic Unleashed. Man, did that throw me off.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good sort of evolution of the 3D Sonic formula for sure. And in terms of how you can control Sonic, I think it's really the most solid to date on that front.
Now, in a more positive review, Jim Sterling, who owns the largest Sonic and feel this is the direction that the franchise should take. While many Sonic fans would rather go back to the Boost Sonic of Unleashing Generations, which direction do you think I should take of either?
Which direction do I should take? That guy, that's a loaded question, and you know it.
Kelly approved it.
Fine. So the answer here is that there is no correct answer to this question, right? There are elements of both styles of games and that I think are very good. I really like some sections in that adrenaline rush, like boosting, but you remember exactly where you're going, and it all that. And then I also conversely the stuff in Sonic Lost World. Like I enjoy the levels where you have to slow down and kind of taking time to look at the craziness that's going on as you use a more complex platform. To me, Sonic is all of it, right? So even the old Genesis mix of that platform and a mix of that. So is there a right direction? I don't think there's any one direction for Sonic that is going to be perfect. I don't think anyone could predict exactly what that would be. But I think that it's kind of about finding and making a game that's fun, right? So at the end of the day,
that's what's always going to be.
Yeah, that's the most
so
to me. It's important that's thing.
So that's my personal feeling. Having a good time, if you are playing it and you have a big smile on your face, you're like, this is a good experience, then it doesn't matter if Sonic is boosting it per hour, or if he's jumping over 25 bottomless pits. As long as you're having fun, that's the most important part.
What do you feel is the most important element?
Sonic Lost World is all about, in many ways, I think it's about control. And to me, in 3D has always been like sort of this mix of Sonic is always going really fast, but then you're not entirely sure if you should hold the analog stick all the way to the left or just a little bit, if that's going to be like too much to send him off, to his death, and then you just have to work with many times you die and many times. For Lost World in particular, finally that is kind of finally gone, and it does take a bit of
I'm
learning.
not sure, unless you just hold down the run button.
Say, unless you do it just like the old games, just hold on the run button. But it's kind of about having that freedom of choice now, and deciding, okay, run, am I going to spin dash, am I just going to walk at this section? And I think that is kind of what Sonic Lost World is all about, is giving control back to the player in a scenario in 3D when in many previous games that was kind of the one thing that I think players had wanted more of.
Right.
So Knuckles and Amy make an appearance in this game, sort of, and will be one of the I need to reread this.
It's okay.
Knuckles and Amy make an appearance in this.
Sorry,
Knuckles and Amy
it
make
is
an
spelled
appearance
wrong on that part.
Yeah.
Just say in this game.
I know. And so Knuckles and Amy both appear in this game. They'll also be appearing alongside Sonic and Tails in the upcoming Sonic Boom cartoon. Will these four characters be the primary focus of the franchise from here on out, or will we still be seeing characters like Shadow, Silver, and Blaze?
Okay, good question. So what I can say is that, we know there are a lot of fans out there for characters like Tails, like Knuckles, like guys are the people that are always on the forums saying, please make Tails playable again, or please make Knuckles playable, or
please make Knuckles playable again?
Right? See, and believe me when I say that I get a lot of private messages from people on the Sega forums, in particular about Silver and Blaze. And in fact, to the extent that you guys can stop private messaging me if you're listening to this, I really, like 100 messages a week is more than enough, believe me. And so we hear that there are a lot of people out there that have a lot of characters that obviously, they want to see more love for. And one of the great things about the Sonic universe, and also one of the sort of curses, is that there's so many awesome characters that are so many fan favorites, right? And some people are all about the core group. They're like, I only like the characters that run on the Genesis, and then you got some people that are all about sort of the later generations that are like, I love
then
Silver.
I love Big.
Did you say Big the Cat?
Yeah.
Well, so Big the Cat's a personal favorite of mine, right? Obviously. So, there's a great mix of Sonic fans. That's one of the parts that makes this fan base so rich. And on one hand, you're never going to make them all happy. What I can say is that, if you want to see more Tails, if you like Knuckles, you should absolutely make yourselves heard. But as to specifically the question, I can't really comment on that in any great detail.
What about Mighty? Will we be seeing Mighty anytime soon? Will he be a star in the upcoming cartoon?
Oh, poor Mighty. I haven't heard much about Mighty these days. I think he's been missing for a little bit, as some of you guys know, but haven't heard anything. Sorry.
Well.
Are the Deadly Six based off anything in particular, like Japanese Oni demons or the Seven Deadly Sins, that sort of thing?
That's a good question. I wondered myself. My understanding, early on, I don't know that they were, but I could be wrong on this. I might not have been told something. So my answer for now is not to my knowledge, but that is possible.
And will the Deadly Six be making a return?
You guys really like these loaded questions, huh?
You can just say no. I will mind. I hate these. I hate those characters.
You don't like them? Why don't you like them?
Oh, they're walking stereotypes. You know, there's the emo, there's the sassy bitch, there's the old man. It's just, you know, Eggman. I think.
I don't know. I mean, I really appreciated Zor for all of his emo stereotypes.
Okay, I did think Zor was funny out of all of them.
All right, if we can just we'll go with one. You guys like Zor? Okay, we'll go with that. No news to answer your question. No news on the Deadly Six. Obviously, we just released Lost World, so.
I kind of got the impression that they died at the end of the game, but I don't know.
I didn't get that impression at all. I thought they just ran away.
They poofed away once you beat them that second time, and when you killed the emo guy, he said, "Death is what was it? Death is my dang it! Death is my only comfort," or something.
Well, that's what he's like.
He really likes death.
Anyway, he's always like that.
I mean, come on. We got Bowser who falls in lava and turns into a skeleton in every Mario game.
Yeah, but that's Mario, you know? It's like Robotnik's never going to die even if he falls into lava. Hey, he did fall into lava, and he didn't die. So...
He fell from the...
I should probably say,
we'll
be doing spoilers here.
Spoilers everywhere, guys. Back it up. Oh my gosh.
We could do spoilers on this one. This is a post.
Okay.
Post Sonic Lost World. So we're good on that.
All right.
We'll be okay with it. We're going to let people know in advance that we're going to have spoilers because the whole podcast is going to be talking about the game.
Tails gets turned into a robot.
You guys talked about the part where Tails dies, right? In the hidden cutscene at the end?
Sonic has to blow him up because he's a robot.
No. The scene where... Oh, never mind. You guys haven't seen it yet. Let's move on.
Speaking of Tails, exactly how does one make a TV out of paper clips anyway?
It was paper clips and gum.
Yes. The answer to this is very carefully.
Sonic getting an extra life by collecting 100 rings has been a staple since Sonic 1. Why was it changed with this game?
That's a very good question. So I couldn't give you all of the exact reasons as I'm not part of the straight development team, so I wasn't involved in that decision. But what I can tell you is that it was sort of adjusted in favor of focusing a bit more this time on picking up the extra lives just by themselves, the one-ups. We got a bit of an echo. Are you guys hearing it?
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Ah, cripes. Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Headphones on?
Yeah, my headphones are on. I got my nice headphones on.
Okay, let's keep trying.
All right, let's try this again. Okay, testing for echo. Yeah,
testing for echo. I'm not hearing. Well, okay, I'm hearing a little bit. Jason, are you hearing anything?
Yeah, I'm still hearing the echo on Aaron's end.
It
only seems to be when Aaron talks.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't need to try a new mic then.
No, you're good.
Okay. I guess we'll just go for it, and hopefully it fixes itself at some point.
Okay.
Cool. So why don't you get an extra life for collecting 100 rings anymore? It's not something that I can comment on in great detail, as I wasn't there when that decision was made, but the definite focus this time was all about putting the extra lives in the level and on the world map. And I think that it's a really interesting piece of feedback because you guys aren't the first people to ask that question. I know a number of reviews have also posed that question and said, it's kind of a staple, right? Having these 100 rings become an extra life. And go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I personally don't mind. It lends a little more difficulty to the game, and it's still easy to life farm in certain levels, like that beehive level, if you really want to life farm.
Yeah, no.
So, I don't really see it as important.
Well, it's true. I do also understand. There's a certain angle that people take, and I don't think it's an incorrect one, which is to say that if you expect certain elements of the previous games to exist, why is it different now? Why do 100 rings not give you an extra life in this game? And I think there's certainly a fair argument to be made from that point too. So, if that's, we're going to kind of come back to this, if that's something that you guys as fans as well think is a really important element of the Sonic games, if you think it's a good thing to have, then please do let us know. And there's places like the Sonic forums where you can go post those thoughts. And so yeah, that's kind of what I'll say on that.
When you're PMing Jason, when you're PMing Aaron, asking for him to bring back Knuckles as a playable character, you could also PM him about his thoughts on this, on live.
I'm actually going to forward all requests over to Kelly Parker. I'm just going to send everything.
No. I'm going to call Aaron.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In addition to that, adding to that, it does kind of seem to devalue the rings. You can collect 10 rings or 1,000 rings, but there's not much difference. As soon as you get hit, a lot of those lose. Or like in the, like what I call the Circus Atari little bonus levels, you collect rings on there too, but it doesn't seem to, add anything there.
So yeah, so why get more rings, right?
Right.
So I think this may even be more important on the more 2D platformer types, like the side-scroller types of Sonic games, but even in 3D it can be important. So I think one of the key things that it helps you with is getting hit by an enemy. So let's say you have one ring and the boss hits you and the ring pops out and goes to the right behind the boss. And at this point you can't go through the boss, you can't go get that ring again, and you're kind of in a dangerous situation. So having more rings, both in 2D in particular and 3D, is helpful in the sense that you have a much greater chance to pick something back up to avoid dying if you get hit again by an enemy. And I think that can pretty much apply to most Sonic games where rings are present and are a collectible element. So in Lost World, even though you're not necessarily banking rings as you would a la Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, etc., it is a case where having more rings will at least help protect you more and make it more likely that you can grab one every time you get hit.
Right, there are some wild and imaginative levels this time around, especially with that whole bonus, like eighth world. I kind of dig that. It's like a.
Do you guys like it?
That's like bonus features out of a DVD where they got all these extra levels that really they couldn't fit into the story, and they just tried them out to see how it works. Did Sonic Team get more creative freedom this time around?
I don't know if I would call it creative freedom, but you can definitely tell that they had a fun time creating a lot of the levels in Sonic Lost World. And you'll know as you look through the environments that are in Sonic Lost World, you can compare a lot of the environments to previous Sonic games, because there's very few environments, say a desert ruin zone or a snowy ice zone, right? We've done these things before, but it's all about how do you do them differently this time. Like typically Sonic doesn't roll around as a giant snowball, whether you love it or hate it. But
I actually love that. I know a lot of people
I did enjoy that level.
Critical of that level, but I actually enjoyed that level quite a bit.
Good to hear. It's
a
like
level
it's
that I
like
really didn't like was Sky Road Act 3. I guess that's all I'll say.
Oh, Sky Road. Yes. Great music in Sky Road, though. What I will say is that when you look back to previous Sonic games, I think at the time, those were pretty unique and creative, too. Like, say it's 1993, and someone is explaining to you about their new video game where this blue hedgehog goes snowboarding and then explores this cave filled with ice and then beats up this dude with a mustache. And so that's, that at the time, it was like, oh, that's pretty different and interesting. So I think it's all about the perspective and the timing, compared to what else is out there on the market. And so in this case, these levels are pretty awesome, pretty unique. But Sonic Team has always had this really nice history of creating very unique levels in previous games.
And speaking of Sonic history, Sonic games have for a long time had I completely screwed up the grammar there. For a long time, Sonic games have had fairly intrusive tutorial messages. Like Omo Chow and Tikal and all the question marks and. Mm-hmm. But with Sonic Lost World on the Wii U, Sonic Team decided to minimize tutorials to the point where you had to click a little thing on the gamepad in order for them to come up. As a result, many moves were either hard to learn or were completely unknown to the player until much later in the game, because many didn't bother with the question marks and just bypassed the lessons and kept playing. Even the 3DS version had question marks on the level so that you'd be able to understand the moves. Now, as a personal experience, I actually had to explain to GX Echidna how the differences between the homing attack and the kick, and he didn't understand any of that. I didn't know how to explain it to them because it just felt so natural to me. But he just wasn't really getting it.
To be honest,
and so
I didn't even know about the focused homing attack until the very end of the game when I was fighting. What's his name?
Zavok? Yeah.
Zavok, yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, I realize now that you could just stand there and the homing attack will triple in its target.
So why did the development team decide to go in that direction for tutorials?
Mm-hmm. So and why in particular on Wii U, versus 3DS?
Yeah,
right?
Wii U.
The 3DS did have a tutorial level on theirs, I believe.
Yeah. So one of the key things that they wanted to do this time around was to make a tutorial system that didn't get in your face, a tutorial system that wasn't constantly doing a hey listen, or the hi, I'm Omo Chow, and then he flies around you for approximately 2 minutes and you try to get him hit by an enemy so he goes away. So we wanted to make a game where that wasn't the case, where you would have the option of using the tutorial if you wanted to, but it would never stop the game. It would never interrupt your flow and your progress. And that was one of the reasons for putting it on the gamepad and you just kind of tapping the gamepad and then it pops up right there. It's interesting, though, to note that some people, felt that it was almost perhaps too hard to see or that it was too hidden or wish it had popped up right in their face, because it's one of those cases where I think if we had put 50 million flying Omo Chows in every level to teach you everything, everyone would be like, oh my, this is just too much. It's just that I can't handle this. No more tutorials.
Just let us help you pack them.
Yeah. And conversely, if you don't do tutorials, then they're like, well, this is too hard. I don't know what I'm doing. And in some cases, it may be people that didn't understand that there was a tutorial there, but in other cases, I think people just skip the tutorial, and then later they're like, well, this is really hard. And you're like, well, did you bother reading the tutorial? And they're like, oh, no, I'm too good for that. And you're like, oh, okay. All right then. So I understand certainly the points that people are making, but at the same time, it's another case of no matter what you do, some people I think are going to have issue with it, and we'll complain a little bit about it.
And I was wondering if I could expand on this question a bit and ask about the lack of those signs that tell you where a boundless pit is.
You can. Yeah, go ahead.
That'd be kind of hard on the clouds, because then you'd have a little sign on every single.
Why? Another complaint that I know GX Echidna had was he didn't like that there was nothing indicating where a boundless pit was. Unlike in previous Sonic games, where we had those big orange signs. Why were those removed for this game?
So they exist to a certain extent on 3DS. On the Wii U, It's an interesting question because, so think back to Generations, right? And remember that in Generations we had those signs everywhere. Every time you'd hit a bottomless pit, there'd be a sign pretty much telling you, hey, watch out, bottomless pit here. But also remember that most of the times you would see those, you would be in one of the sections. Even as Modern Sonic, you'd be in a section that is primarily 2D. And there are some sections in 3D where you'd see them, but a lot of times you see it in 2D. And that's because the camera angle lends itself to that sign better if it's in 2D, right? And you can kind of see it because you can't see it in front of you. And so when you're in 3D, I think it's a case where you can definitely see a lot further. Your depth perception in terms of camera angle is much better. And Lost World, at least in the later levels, I think would just be like signs everywhere on some of those really, really hard levels, right? Because at the very, very end, there's those moments where you have to get that platforming right, and there are a number of bottomless pits, and there would be quite a few signs. But as to specifically why it was taken out, I can't really comment, but I just wanted to note that I think previously a lot of times you notice it is when it's a 2D camera angle, especially as that sign lends itself to that.
All right.
Okay, just a few more questions at the end here. How do you upgrade the value of wisped away items?
So for the wisped away items, I believe you have to share those with other people, and that upgrades the value.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Send them
any tips on getting material for Tails faster in the 3DS version of the game?
Game coins, if you haven't used them already.
All right.
And
yep.
Can you give us some moves or tips for the Wii U version as far as how Sonic controls and whatnot that we might not be aware of?
Definitely. There's one that came up on the forums, and someone was like, "This is cheating. This is like, you can't do this. This is the worst thing ever." And I was like, actually, this is intended. So there's something that we've kind of nicknamed the infinite spin dash, and that's
I
not
almost was able to do that. I had a feeling there was something like that in there.
Yeah, no, that's not the official name, mind you. That's just something that we've kind of just dubbed it here. I'll find out what the official name for this is. But so this is where you spin dash, right? And when you're spin dashing, you jump, and then in the middle of your jump, you hold down the spin dash triggers again, and when you land, you'll keep spin dashing. And so you can use this to speedrun very effectively because you're going at pretty much spin dash speed through the entire level if you do it right. But there are two things you have to do very, very well. One is you have to be able to jump over the obstacles that would get in your way. So even in the first level, you're going to have those spikes, right, on the rotating trees that you got to watch out for. And you got some other obstacles to watch out for as well in terms of just stuff that would obstruct you. So you have to remember you can't parkour while you're doing this because spin dash will not let you parkour. But if you can manage those two things, you can speedrun very, very effectively through most levels, and I highly recommend using it in the two-player mode. So yeah, that's a little tip that I've got. That is in fact intended. It's sort of like it's the hard mode, if you would, with certain levels because you're going very quickly, but always remember that when you're going fast, you can't exactly see where you're going. So you kind of need to memorize the level and the hazards that are coming up ahead of you. But that's one tip I would give you. I think it's pretty fun. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's something I discovered on my own, but I couldn't quite perfect it.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
All you got to do is spin dash, jump whenever you need to jump. You just pretty much hold down the spin dash. Anytime you need to jump, you jump and then you push down the triggers again before you land, and you'll keep on spin dashing as soon as you hit the ground. And you can just repeat it all the way through the level. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much. One tip I'd like to give some listeners is I find that while the 3DS version doesn't have as good a levels design, some of the controls technical controls seem quite a bit better, but it's also a good way to practice for the Wii U version. I found myself doing better with the parkour on the Wii U version after playing the 3DS version for quite a while because the parkouring seems a lot tighter, or a fair amount tighter on the 3DS. Actually, that's
something that surprised me about the 3DS game. The parkour is different.
A little bit. It did help me find a red ring on the cavern level in Lost World. The funniest thing that I discovered accidentally is, I guess, in the cavern of the Windy Hill area, I kept jumping over all the little spiked ice. I kept thinking they were little bristles. I think they're going to damage me right near the end.
And they
I
actually
can
give you
avoid them.
rings. They all give you rings. Yeah, that's right.
I felt so silly after that.
It's all right. It's the adventure, right? So it's good.
Right.
Well, Aaron and Kelly, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us and sit through my rambling, my rambling questions.
No problem. Thank you, as
was,
always, for having us.
It was great talking to you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you much,
Thank
guys.
you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, take care.
You have a great day and a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, you too. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, once again, thanks to Aaron Weber and Kelly Parker for that interview. That was absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, we did have an outro for this episode, and the Skype thing just got worse and worse. It was just more and more echoes, just completely unusable, and I apologize for that. And so we have decided we're not using Skype to record our podcast anymore. No longer using Super 1010. Just going to use the audio file here, and we're just going to be using just regular audio recording systems because that's the only thing that seems to work worth a damn. I'll also be getting a new microphone because this one is way too quiet. I don't know what it is that makes it so quiet, but there you have it. Anyway, it was great having everybody here. If you listened to the entire podcast, I think the discussion on Sonic the Lost World went very, very well. It's too bad some of the audio kind of screwed up on that. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining us for this little special, and we'll see you next time with episode 25. We're going to try to make a real special one. Alright, have a great evening. Or a great Christmas, I should say. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And he wishes all of you a Merry Christmas.
The kids write an extremely Merry Christmas every year of your life.